So the one thing that confronts us is called fear. And fear is one of our biggest lessons and the most beautiful lesson. Because fear means I am missing love. You see? I am missing being, looking at the being. The moment we forget the being, we become immersed in I am Burt. You see? And that starts fear. Because now I compare, now I compete. Now I want to be better than, rather than less than. You see what I mean? And that starts the whole ball rolling downhill. And that's when the suffering, that's called fear. But the moment you look fear in the face, it takes you another way. You see? And when a fear keeps repeating, it means we want it. Who wants it? Who wants that fear to keep on going?
The I.
The I, the human I. Because fear, you see, when you have fear that keeps repeating all the time, it means that you want your own personal identity to continue. Oh, the fear is killing you. But you don't want it to go away because without it you're nothing. It's your form of identity. So therefore, you hang on to it. I've had people come to me and they say, one particular case, a woman said to me, you know, I have so many worries and fears, and she's very tense. And I said at that moment, I said, look, I said, if you really pay attention to what I'm going to say to you, I can show you the truth of your being right here and now. And all your worries and fears are gone. And she got terrified. She got terrified at that moment. See, most people, if I say to them, right now, if you have fears and worries, I'll get rid of them. If you listen to me, if I'll tell you who you are. And they'll say, oh, okay, there's no fear in them. But you know why? They're half believing that I can do it. Or I can help them to see it. You know what I mean? They're not sure. But this woman was sure that I was going to help her. She was sure that I was going to get rid of her fears and disappointments and worries. And she stopped. She didn't want to handle it. Because she was so sure that I was going to succeed, at least she had faith, that I'm going to succeed, that what am I going to be like without these things? I've had them for so many years now. I've identified with them so much. You see, what am I going to do without it? There is that fear, you see. We cannot handle being. We've invested so much into our personality, into our past, into our accomplishments. We've invested so much energy into our degrees and education. But we know nothing about who we are. We know nothing about what life is about. You see? And this is where the courage has to come in. Are we willing for just a few moments to give up everything and be nothing? Just to have a glimpse of that being, because that being cannot peak. You cannot know the knowing, because it's knowing. You see, some people say, well, I want to be awakened. Well, the truth is you're already awakened, because being has never been asleep. Being is enlightened. It is the human that isn't enlightened. But the human goes in search for enlightenment, thinking that it's someplace else. The being part of you, which is the real part of you, is already awakened. Is already enlightened. You see? So therefore, if you were to say, from now on, I'm awake. Because the being does everything. And is everything. It is the real doer, experiencer. You see? If we begin to feel that, even now, you're awake. Everything else that the mind feeds you, all the beliefs and all the ideas and how life is, or any beliefs that you have, there's nothing wrong with them. It's the nature of the mind to believe. It is the nature of the human to believe. So therefore, you just let it be. You pay no attention to it. Who is believing this? Who is doing this? You see? Now, can we explore, because I said something very powerful about fear. Did you know that fear, now I'm talking about psychological fear, because survival fear, if a tiger is chasing you, there's going to be some fear there, okay? That's survival instinct, and it's okay to run away. However, we're talking about psychological fear. Worries, the future, what's going to happen to you, fear of death, which is a psychological fear, you see? Because there is no death. How can you die? What is it that dies? The body? Where is the body? Well, that's the sense of touch, which makes you think. You see, the body is created in order to give validity to a body that doesn't exist. Did you know that? Did you hear what I just said? The body is existed to make you believe there is a body. But in truth, everything that is functioning through you is being. Course in Miracles calls it the Holy Spirit. Everything. Everything is being done through that. But then you accumulate certain ideas and beliefs, which of course is being accumulated through memory. And then you think that you are these memories that you are accumulating. And you say, well, I am this, and I am this, and I am this, you see? And of course, then you lose touch with the being. And when you lose touch with the being, you're not living. You're already dead, you see? Because there's the life in you, the pulsating life in you is that knowing. Well, look at now. Can there be anything else but now? I don't mean this room, I don't mean you here. I mean now itself. There's never a moment when now is not. We know it intellectually, but what if you start living from that? Therefore, anything that you believe about the past is just a memory. Anything that you believe about the future is just a concept that creates most of our anxieties. And incidentally, that's what fear is. Fear is the future. What is going to happen? What I'm afraid will happen. See? I got cancer. I'm going to die. I don't have cancer. I'm just saying it. So I'm going to die. So I have fear. But the fear is psychological. You see? Why is it psychological?
Future.
It's future. It has nothing to do with now. Absolutely nothing to do with now. Survival fear is spontaneous, and it is now. You see? Somebody's going to conk you over the head. There's an immediate fear. You just step aside. A car is coming at you. You jump. Okay? That's good. That's survival fear. That's healthy. You need that. Okay? But psychological fear, which most people live under most of the time, is future. Or bringing the past into the future. And then you live from that fear. And all fear is an escape from love.